Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about the new episode of Vanderpump Villa, which is episode 4. Let's get right into it.
Hank does not deserve to be here. I'm gonna go with Chef.
I hate the way that he disrespects the chefs.
You and you're 30 years old acting like a piece of shit!
So we begin this episode with this little party they were just throwing for the guest. Eric demanded a drink from Telly, but she's like, nah, because she's not going to get in trouble for his ass. So he doesn't care. He just gets the bottle and pours it down his throat. Then he starts to give a personal Magic Mike show, like literally doing lap dance and stripping. Of course, the girls were all going crazy and whatnot. But that was it for the night. Everybody heads up to their rooms now to relax and to sleep. So Grace pretty much tells Andre that she's into him, but he's kind of speechless. He likes her, just not like that. She gets friend zoned, or family zoned, I should say, because he says, I'm sort of like your big brother. Like, that's how I see you. She's embarrassed, but you know what? She shot her shot, and it was what it was. The next morning, they're getting ready for breakfast, and we see a little more of Anthony the chef, who is one of the only real French people here. But he works very hard. He might be one of the ones who actually works the most hard because, he is has to get up early. And listen, cooking, it actually takes, it could be very tiring, physically. And, as he's, for example, getting up and cooking breakfast, Marciano is up in his room sleeping, cuddling with Hannah. So it just kind of puts in perspective. The guests eat their breakfast, and then it's time for them to fill out their little surveys on how the staff did, who they liked the most, and whatnot. And then the guests leave, and Lisa begins to read these surveys. So after reading that, she calls in Priscila and Eric into her office. And Lisa says that whatever they did, the guest loved it. So that's good. A little later, it's time for a meeting. Lisa gathers them for a new meeting where they're going to be going over the new guests that are coming. And it's going to be a bachelorette party. Now, here's the thing. Marciano and Eric are getting all this attention from Lisa and some others simply because they're tall and they have a six-pack. And that's a little annoying to a lot of them, including Steven and Telly. Telly makes some comment about them being thirsty, which they are. And Lisa kind of calls her out and says that, that's what they're here to do. But the thing is, what she is thinking is just because someone, might be attractive or whatnot, or they think they're all this and that, doesn't mean that they should, be let off the hook for not doing their freaking job. They then gather outside to greet the guest. It's a little weird because when you think of a bachelorette party, you're thinking of all girls, but they brought some guys and the actual man who the girl is engaged to. Then the dicks, Dumb and Dumber, Eric and Martian, are coming up with a little game plan on how to spice things up. Their minds are, they just want to hook up with these people, and they want to take off their shirts and just be freaky. So they get behind the bar and they start to drink, and then this heifer Eric he keeps drinking like a fish. Lisa talks a little to these guests who are a little weird. They're getting married in Australia, but this is actually news to some of the friends of the bride. They are just now finding this out, and they haven't actually been formally invited. She has no other option but to be well, y'all can come if y'all want. Martian is trying to go out of his way to serve them champagne, go to their room and everything. Then the event that they did was an event where they played some tennis, but there's drama with the guest. So the bride's friend is confronting her about not being a good friend and not treating him right. And Hannah and Priscila were just stuck there. They were like, should we leave? Then a little later, it's time for dinner. One of the things that Anthony the chef loves is that he has artistic freedom, I guess you could call it, as to what he cooks. So the entire menu, the courses and everything is entirely up to him. And you could see that this is something he's really passionate about. But you guys, then these guests continue to argue. So the guy friend is bringing up this stuff again, and he's mad that the groom crashed. Then the other idiots, I'm talking about the workers, start grabbing bottles left and right from Telly's bar, and they're just going out there, crazy, pouring shots onto people's mouths. Anthony is upset. Keep in mind, remember, he is French. He is thinking of this as an elegant French restaurant. And these people are treating it like a nightclub. So he's like, is this a club or is this Chateau Roosevelt? Eric comes into the kitchen and Anthony gets mad and says that this is inappropriate to be pouring alcohol down their mouths. Like, he understands if they want to have shots or whatnot. Eric says, look, this is a bachelorette party. It's meant to be able to have fun. This is your kitchen and that's my table. And Anthony says, okay, that's the case. Get out of my kitchen then. The next morning, Eric somehow manages to put an entire sheep inside the house. A sheep, like the animal. Then Eric, so they're like, all kind of getting ready, waking up and whatnot. Then Eric tells Telly, you're late. You need to be on time. I'm here doing your job. I've been up since 6:30 in the morning. She says, yeah, you've been up playing with the sheep. She says that she doesn't care. She can literally leave if he wants because he's disrespectful. So they start arguing. And that's when she says, that's why you're a 36-year-old man and you're single. Ooh. The guests eat their breakfast and then they are having some sort of like spa day type of thing outside. Eric and the Martians start opening bottles and, throwing them all across. But every time they serve them, they also take drinks for themselves. The Martian practically got naked and they just jumps into the pool. But they're doing their job. But Telly's wrong? Like, that makes no sense. Because she was 10 minutes late. She's not doing her job? Okay. Telly is feeling horrible. She doesn't even want to be here at this point. So she goes to talk to Lisa. She tells Lisa, I'd rather be home than to be getting poked at over and over again by Eric. Lisa says, but you're strong. Lisa says that she cares about her, but if she wants to leave, then it is up to her at the end of the day. Telly says, well, I can't quit when things get hard, so I guess no, I don't want to go home. LVP says, you're not going to make everyone behave how you want them, but just try to be okay. The dinner later that night is called A Night in Versailles. The guests are wearing old English wigs and costumes, so they begin eating. Marciano thinks that this is boring, so after dinner, they are all intermingling, guest and staff, and it's some sort of truth or dare type of game. You have to answer the question, but if you don't, then you have to take off a piece of clothes. Someone calls Marciano the most dramatic. They called Gabriella the most boring. Apparently the kinkiest one is Caroline, but then Marciano reads his question. It reads, who doesn't deserve to be here? And he says that the chef Anthony doesn't deserve to be here because he should be out here trying to have fun and to entertain the guests. So Caroline has to defend him because he's not there and because he has an important job. He wakes up at 6:30 every morning. Look, Marciano, this is an embarrassment of a person. He's a little pussy too because it's pretty easy to talk about someone who isn't there. So back inside, then after they were done with that, Grace calls Marciano a piece of shit. She says, I don't F with you. You're arrogant. You're an asshole. And your comment about the chef was disgusting. Are you on crack? And then Marciano says, well, he gets paid the most. And she says, yeah, he gets paid the most because he does the most. So they begin screaming. This was a screaming match. It was bad. Of course, he can't shut his mouth. So he kept talking back to her. And she was getting upset, rightfully so. And it was just crazy. It was so dramatic. But that was the end. And it looks like in the next episode, looks like Marciano's gonna get fired by the preview. You know how they like to, trick us and whatnot. But honestly, the crazy part is to think that there is actual people like that, like Eric and Marciano out in the real world. Like, how could you be so arrogant, so cocky, so disrespectful, like you own the damn world? Like, I could never deal with that shit. But yeah, you guys, this was the end of the 4th episode. Really good show. As I said, it looks like the episodes just keep getting better and better as we progress. And I'm not sure how many episodes we're going to have this season. That's probably something I should look up. But I've been enjoying it. At first, I didn't know if the huge cast was a good idea because sometimes when you have way too many people, it can be a little confusing. But I feel like it's actually kind of good also because you get to have different types of drama with different types of people. And I feel like that's apparent every episode as we go on because, like, for example, this episode, we didn't know that much about Chef Anthony, but we were able to see him a little bit more this episode. But you guys, as I said, let me know what you thought about this episode. I'll catch on next week. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I've really been enjoying the show. Oh, and also just a little fun, comment. Let me know if y'all saw the solar eclipse today. I live in Dallas, Texas, so we were able to get like a amazing view. Like, it was crazy because I've never experienced a total eclipse. But yeah, it was pretty awesome and how like it was literally there was light and then like it was dark And it came back. So that's amazing. So let me know if you guys saw the clips. But yeah, guys, I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.